Virgo season is bringing out the weird girl in me. Let's talk about it. Virgo energy is like the clever witch in the corner, calm, polite, and observant, and just plain peculiar. I love it. It's that mysterious, smart girl vibe, but in the most eclectic way. Virgo is, in one word, brilliant. Virgo season really pulls out that inner weird girl in the best way. Not the messy, trying too hard kind of weird, but more of the authentic, explorative side of you, and it's bringing out my true weird girl out of me. The side of me that's curious, explorative, and not afraid to let my quirks show. I'm feeling very Winona Ryder. I'm feeling very Wednesday. I'm just feeling very weird. And so for this episode, I want to talk about reclaiming your inner weird girl with inner safety and trust. But where are my weird manners? Hello, Venus angels. Welcome back to another episode of Venus Cove, a show about all things introspective, astrology, witchy vibes, and just all things spiritual. I am your host, Johanna, also go by August here at the Cove, and let's get into it. So I really feel like this is the perfect time to start leaning into yourself and really embrace your weirdness. Because I've been talking about inner confidence, I've been preaching about finding yourself the past few weeks, becoming that girl, finding your independence, and all that jazz. And I'm sensing that one of the best ways for a woman or anyone to do that is by embracing their weirdness, being a weirdo, an odd number, in an internal level. The weird girl trope is obviously seen as awkward or out of place in society. It's sometimes kind of like a basket case, or at least that's how Hollywood shows it on an external level. But what I think is leaning into your own unique rhythm, your offbeat fascination, and letting your imagination see the world differently. And Virgo energy highlights that. It's detail-oriented, curious, and a little unconventional sometimes, in the best way. Let me tell you what happened, because there's a reason why I even thought of this. So during the new moon last week, I was feeling very awful. I slept 11 hours, which is probably the most I've slept all year, and I thought I'd feel better and happier. But the truth was I didn't. Half the day I was feeling like sweaty, musty ass. And so I took some time to think about what could be causing me this discomfort. What am I doing or not doing to help me out of this slump? It's Saturday. It's a nice sunny but not too hot type of day. Like, why don't I want to go out into the world and show myself? Am I feeling shy? Am I feeling not ready? And there it was, not ready. But not ready for what? I asked myself. To be evaluated, to look and smell and breathe and smile my best. And so I pondered some more and I thought, oh, okay. It's that I'm not ready to perform again. That's why I don't want to go out. That's why I don't have the energy for it. Because I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to go out. I just don't want to perform when I go out. I don't want to put on this happy face when I'm just not feeling up to it. I do want to go out, but I don't want to smile or be cheerful, when I'm just not in the mood to. So I realized I just want to be myself, and this is how I want to show up today, on the weekend. But then I thought, but people probably won't like me if I go out like this as myself. And I thought, well, my life isn't for others, it's for myself. Silly bean. So I was in a very cranky mood of getting dressed and fixing my hair and putting on a cute outfit, when really I just wanted to look dark and creepy with some whimsical tones. In fact, coming out like that would make me feel less cranky and moody. And so I asked myself, well, what would be so scary if I showed up like that anyway? What if I just accepted myself like this? You know, like some people really accept themselves wearing sweatpants and slides, but I can't accept myself being quote unquote weird and wear whatever I want to wear and just enjoy my quirkiness. Like if I just continue to love myself and hold my inner child, I can be fully me. We do get stuck in these cycles of, damn, maybe I need to drink a green juice to feel complete, or do yoga in the morning, when all I really want to do is talk to myself, light my favorite candle, journal, and drink a pumpkin spice latte made at home with my espresso machine because I'm obsessed with pumpkin spice lattes right now. And so it made me realize, okay, wait, I'm not broken and I'm not doing anything wrong. I just prefer doing things differently today. I prefer to be glum and kind of be at peace with that, not try to change my mood because it's bothering me when it's not really bothering me. What's really bothering me is that I have to change it for other people, you know? Also, angels, I'm so sorry. I live in New York City and god damn it, there's just so much honking everywhere all the time. I'm very close to making my podcast or recording my podcast at nighttime when things are a little bit more silent. But I'm gonna do my best to make sure you don't hear any more honking the rest of the show. But let us continue. So yeah, I've been doing some EFT tapping because it's fun talking to myself and doing affirmations that make me feel whole. EFT tapping I recently discovered and really helps me feel more centered and grounded and internally safe. It's one of the coolest things I found, honestly. I highly recommend it and I highly suggest doing it on a daily basis. And I feel like it's one of those things that has made me want to embrace my inner weird girl. So this season feels like a nudge to embrace the parts of myself that don't fit into the mold and instead see them as strengths, see them as flavor, spice in my kitchen, and my magic. There's a crap ton of weird girl tropes, you know. There's the happy, delusional one who's usually very positive, childlike, and her mind is up in the clouds. There's the angry one that wants to fit in and also hates the world and hasn't quite accepted her weirdness, which is what I could have easily fallen into. There's the most popular one now that's mostly known as the goth one, like Wednesday, for example. There's the manic pixie dream girl, which might have her own category, might not be a part of the weird girl trope, because according to the internet, she's created more for the male gaze. She's not really real, and I think she's fun, but I do see that she can be a bit male-centered or be considered as a helper to pessimistic males and others, but for this episode, we'll stick to these. I might make a part 2 of this, though. I do love the topic of the weird girl trope. So I think in my best days, and I mean best, I can be the very hippie, positive, up in the clouds weird girl. I do have a natural childlike sense of self. I love sharing to others on what I did, like show and tell. It's what makes me have that human connection to be witnessed. But I think my default falls in between the goth and hippie because, well, I have to confess, I was born Catholic. I know. And I have a Gemini moon, so I will always have two sides of me. I wish sometimes I could lean towards one or the other, but I just see both as unique and special in their own time and place. Going back to my distress earlier, during the new moon last week, I decided to really get deep into it. Because again, in my last episode, I made a vow to myself that I won't leave me. I won't give up on myself. Confidence is an inside job, and I love myself, and I'm clearly feeling some discomfort. Because when I'd go on social media that day, I felt weirdly disconnected, like I'm looking for acknowledgement. I want to be seen as me. I want to be spoken to without performing. So the question I asked myself, and one that we're going to try and answer today, is how do you actually reclaim your inner weird girl? Because I feel like we all have that version of ourselves deep inside. You know, that part of us that's curious, kind of quirky, kind of just weird and not really interested in fitting into anyone else's idea of normal, just our own normal. And Virgo season to me has a way of pulling that out. Not in a messy way, but in this thoughtful, intentional type of way. So I put some thought into this and I came up with some ideas that I want to run by you. And I think it has helped me the past week, just getting into it, really beginning to accept my weirdness and accept myself ultimately. So the first thing I think that really works is to follow your rabbit holes. Yes, I'm talking about Alice in Wonderland style. Get obsessed with random little things you really like and let yourself explore. You know when you get obsessed with something random, like a niche topic or a hobby or some type of vibe, and then people don't get it? Instead of toning it down, lean all the way in. That curiosity is your magic. Because think about it. When you're chasing that rabbit hole, you're literally building worlds. Angels, that's world building right there. And you don't have to keep it contained in a game either. Minecraft, I think that's the game that people build stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not a gamer, so I'm probably saying it wrong maybe. But you know what I mean. We're so used to only world building inside of games or stories, but what if you actually did it in your real life, Is it The Sims? I'm not sure. Any gamers listening, let me know which one is the right game where you build your world and stuff. I don't know, I'm sorry. So let's say you're into vintage stuff or crystals or a certain type of streetwear fashion, or you've decided this week you're a plant witch because it's Virgo season. Who cares if it makes sense to anyone else? That's your personal lore. That's you giving your weird girl a playground. And honestly, the more you feed that part of yourself, the more alive you start to feel. The more you start trusting yourself and giving yourself confidence. And that's beautiful. Next, romanticizing your quirks. Okay, so here's the tea. Your quirks are not random accents. They're literally your signature. Maybe it's the way you tilt your head when you're thinking, or the way you twirl your hair when you're daydreaming or writing in your journal. Maybe you've got a slightly crooked smile, a laugh that bursts out louder than you mean it to, or a habit of wearing socks that never match. Those things, they're not flaws. They're details in your novel or your story or your movie, whatever, your main character-ness. And I think when you start romanticizing your quirks, you stop trying to sand down your edges to fit in. Instead, you polish them like little gems and put them on display, talk to your plants and don't apologize for it. Wear that vintage coat you thrifted, even if it makes you look like you just walked out of a French film. Scribble hearts in the margins of your notes, I used to squiggle squiggly lines in my notebook, and I just don't do that anymore for fear of being too girly or not adulty enough, whatever that means. Or wearing glitter eyeliner on a random Tuesday, or give your books a nickname or something, I think the healthiest adults keep these playful little quirks with them, in my humble opinion. I think it just keeps things fun and magical and sparkly. One thing I love to do is pause before I speak. I like to take my time to think for a while and say what I really am trying to say, even when I speak to people now. It's something I've had to and still work on because my brain is so full of rich goodness, only for me, but sometimes I stumble on my words if I speak too fast or I say the wrong thing. And it's also teaching me patience with myself and others. I think our culture is so used to no silence and fast reactions that a lot of people get uncomfortable with silence or feel weird. I do too. It's okay. But sometimes we do need to pause and really think before we say whatever comes out of our mouths. And if it looks quote unquote weird, I'd rather look weird than just say something out of my ass to fill the silence. Like, I'd rather look weird than dumb, I think the weird girl romanticizes, appreciates, finds comfort in her quirks instead of trying to hide them. And most importantly, she stops auditioning for approval and just exists for herself. Let's dive deep into that one, because auditioning is like that subtle shape-shifting we do to be chosen. It's so subtle, we don't notice it until we're like years deep and something or someone wakes us up. It's when you are reading the room before you read yourself. Ugh, that's so painful. Editing your laugh, your opinions, your clothes, your captions. So you land the role of palatable. It's over-explaining. It's apologizing for having needs. It's laughing at jokes you don't think are funny. It's the tiny self-abandonments that stack up until you don't recognize your own voice. A moment of silence for those moments I once had. Existing is different. Existing is choosing your truth before you choose your audience. It's letting your natural timing, your real laugh, your actual taste lead the way. It's trusting that people who are meant for you won't need you smaller, softer, simpler, or censored. And when you live there, people feel it, because realness has its own gravity. So how do we do this? How do we work on this? What is the key? What is going on? Well, not to worry, Venus Angels. I have done extensive research and I'm here to share with you my analyses. So some ways that I figured out how I exit the audition in real time are by doing body check-ins. I ask myself, where am I bracing? Am I clenching my jaw? Am I tensing up on my shoulders? Where am I feeling uncomfortable? And I place a hand on either my chest or my belly, and I do one slow breath, because I realize that existing lives in the body first. So that's step one. Step two, I name the mask. I say in my head, right now, I'm putting on the cool girl, the good student, the chill friend mask. Why does this work? Because naming it breaks the spell. It gets stripped naked of its power that it once held on to you, and it wakes you up. You are fully aware. I feel like this is by far my favorite one. It's the most powerful one for me. So yeah, I would definitely do that. Step 3, I end up choosing one micro truth. Let me explain. So here's the thing. When we feel like we're auditioning for life, whether that's friendships, work, dating, social media, we start shapeshifting. We smooth the edges, we shrink the volume, we give a performance instead of a presence. It's so normal, unfortunately, in our society. And the antidote to that isn't to rip the whole mask off at once, because that can feel terrifying. Instead, it's to start small. And that's where micro-truths come in. So a micro-truth, it's one tiny piece of honesty you let slip through. Something so small you might think no one would notice, but it makes a massive shift in how you feel. Like admitting you don't actually like a TV show everyone else is raving about, for example, or wearing that outfit you've been low-key scared people will think is too much, or saying, actually, I love silence. Can we just sit for a second? Instead of filling space up with like fake chatter, or using your natural laugh instead of the edited, polite chuckle that a lot of women use. I am also very guilty of this. And why does it matter? Why does it matter to do all this? Well, every time that you drop a micro truth, you stop auditioning and you start existing a little more. You plant a flag for your real self. It's like telling the world, this is me, take it or leave it. And here's the secret, most people don't leave it. They lean in closer because realness is magnetic in a world full of curated performances. It's like when you become friends with someone and they become more and more weirder, or vice versa, and you guys end up becoming closer with each other. Heck, you might even adopt each other's weirdness. People love realness. They do. It's kind of scary sometimes, but you also can't stop staring at it. It's like you want more. So, next time, when you feel yourself censoring or shrinking, pause and ask yourself, what's one tiny truth I can let out right now? Just one. That's it. Over time, those micro-truths stack up, and one day you wake up and realize you're living in your own script, not someone else's. And that's why my friendship circle is small and nurturing, and I'm able to feel myself in it. And I feel like these are the baby steps into reclaiming your weird girl in a safe and trusting way. And I might actually make a part 2 on this for like bigger steps, but I think this is like the beginner's guide to being a weirdo, a happy weirdo, and I hope they bring some insight. Comment down below what other baby steps you think helps embracing and reclaiming your inner weirdo. I had so much fun doing this, and yeah, definitely look out for part 2. But that is all I have for you today, angels. If you like this podcast, please share it with a friend or family. Give it a follow on Spotify if you're listening to the Spotify version, or subscribe to my YouTube channel to be notified when the next episode drops. My TikTok and YouTube is at August and Venus. My Instagram at My Life with Johanna. And that's it. My name is Johanna, also go by August here at the Cove, and this is Venus Cove, signing off. Until next time, Venus Angels.